Well, Jess, just such powerful thinking on mentoring from our friend Dr. Ruth Gotian. Um, First off, I love the idea that mentors, they think decades ahead if you have a good mentor. That's pretty powerful.
Yeah, it's interesting. We've been lucky enough to have Marshall Goldsmith, as our mentor.
Mhm.
And of course, Marshall's in his 70s. It is interesting. You want someone who's, had the experience, has done a few things, right? I do really appreciated her tip on don't make it your boss. That can get really
Yeah.
complicated really fast. Your boss might leave. You might outshine your boss. You might be seen. She didn't mention this, but one of the things that came to mind for me was as a total suck up. That the boss is your mentor. Oh, how lucky are you? Do you bring an apple in every day? So those kinds of things were great. She did talk about the importance of follow up,
Yeah.
that accountability, that if you have a mentor, make sure that that mentor is following up with you and keeping track of what you're doing. I thought that was a big takeaway for me. In mentor selection is really
Yeah.
important.
I love that idea too. Yeah, and make it not the boss because I had a boss as a mentor when I was in my 20s. I remember, early 20s, and I was thinking about an MBA, and I talked to him about it, and he says, "Oh yeah, you don't want to go anywhere to do that. You don't want to go to one of those top schools because you don't want to be like a CFO. That's how they're the only people who go there. You want to stick around here and do your MBA." And and I went, okay,
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
wasn't until later I realized, oh yeah, okay, he just didn't want me to go.
That was the
Yeah.
worst advice I could have ever gotten.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. So no, I love that. And I love the idea. Yeah, learn from people in different industries, different ways. And I loved her example of the checklist in surgery. Is where's that come from? Comes from aviation. You're right. Every time your pilots take off, they're going through the checklist.
Yeah. No, I go flying with a friend of ours, Eric Schumberg, and he's got this list. And I keep looking, I go, some of these are so redundant. Like, do we have to do it every time? He goes, every time. And these are small planes. And the more I thought about it, I thought, yeah, let's make sure we do this every time. I really do want to be safe.
Yeah.
I loved her take on mental health,
Hmm.
that having a mentor does calm your mind, right? And that they're your biggest cheerleaders. And that, and of course that's right in, our research around leading with gratitude and
Exactly.
so on, that you've got somebody that you can rely on. You've got a cheerleader, somebody that's got your back and is in your corner. Boy, that goes a long way, doesn't it?
Well, and I love too the connection there. She's saying, look, it's not just calming your anxiety; it builds your self confidence and it pushes you out of your comfort zone. I remember you when you were even though you're my boss, one day you were my mentor too, and you said, look, Adrian, you need to have connections with other people in other departments. I don't wanna, I like working with my team. And you said, no, look, have lunch at least a couple of times a week with other departments, and I started doing that, and gets me out of my comfort zone. I didn't like doing it, but I did it and it was good for me. It was good for our team, good for our group. And yeah, we didn't sit talking about work. We just talked about things, but it created those connections so I could go to those folks and say, hey, we've got a work issue. And I had
Yeah.
those relationships.
I loved her personal commitment to listening and reading. That's what really gets her going. She goes, yeah, I do exercise and all that kind of stuff. I hate that. I do love listening. She, obviously very coachable herself and a voracious reader, just constantly feeding her mind and keeping her mind sharp. And through all of that, it's so interesting. And we've known Ruth for a while now. She brings such joy as she loves her work.
Yeah.
And why does she love it? Because she's constantly learning and she's constantly taking advice and listening. Just great advice to the wrap up.
Such great advice. Yeah, I think my last one was instead of just one mentor, which we tend to do, have a team of mentors. And I
Right.
love that idea. Is that it's yeah, Marshall's our mentor, but we have others that I know that you especially go to others on. Oh, I'm having this tough business issue. You're going to go to Scott O'Neill. You've got this kind of publishing issue. You're going to go to Eric Schumberg. There are people that you go to that and so you're a great example to me of having a team of mentors ready to help you.
Yeah. I'll tell you what's interesting about that too, that you brought that up is I have people call me a lot and say, hey, will you, a book launch, for example, or we're writing a book, or I've got a partner. How do you and Adrian make that work? And so it's that give and take. But talk about great partnerships. We can't not, talk about Brent Klein,
Exactly.
the greatest podcast producer probably of all time.
Mm-hmm.
He makes us sound really good, and boy, we've challenged him with this podcast in particular.
Mm-hmm.
He'll have to really put the pieces together. And of course, Christy Lawrence, who we've known for forever, and brings us these wonderful guests and amazing, thought leaders. If you like the podcast, please share it. We'd also love you to visit thecultureworks.com for some free resources to help you and your team and your culture thrive. But what else should they be doing, Adrian?
We love speaking to audiences around the world, virtually or in person. So give us a call. We'd love to work with you to help address leadership, culture, teamwork, resilience, whatever you're trying to tackle in your culture. Give us a call. We'd love to talk to you about that. We've also got some amazing new anxiety work training that's out. Check out that on our thecultureworks.com website as well. And don't forget to pick up a copy of Anxiety at Work. Jess, is that a bestseller?
It is. It's funny you should ask. Yeah.
So
and it's on Kindle, it's Audible, it's even on Lit Video Books, which is a great little short movie from the book. And again, we just want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Magic Mind. It really is helpful to have that little dose of confidence. You get all your vitamins, it calms your mind. I'm a huge fan. I take it all the time. So Magic Mind, look in the show notes. It's Gostick and Elton 20 and get your discount. Well, Adrian, Dr. Ruth Gotian, her new book is called
Financial Times Guide to Mentoring. Pick up a copy and, hopefully it'll help you build a great mentoring relationship, whether you're the mentor or the mentee. So until next time, thanks everybody for joining us, and we wish you the best of mental health.